point we wanted to get to is a friend of the show, Willie Mack. Willie Mack is our NWA National Heavyweight Champion. He actually has been featured now on the NWA YouTube channel with the One Willie Mack Nation, or One Nation. Not exactly sure what it's called. But have you guys checked it out yet? What are your thoughts, DKM?
I have checked it out. And, of course, I've known Willie Mack since basically the start of what was then NWA Hollywood. And, he challenged Adam Pearce for the title. And I've always been a big Willie Mack fan. I'm really happy he had a chance to compete for the title. I'm glad he won it. I think he's proven himself to be a very worthy champion. Even though the belt has a seahorse on it, he's held that title for a while now, and he's done a good job. Hopefully he holds that for a while and gets more exposure.
And I think the thing to think about Willie Mack is, it's kind of funny because right before they put the belt on him, he was in Hollywood as the Hollywood Heritage Champion. Now, he took that title to Japan and defended it in Japan. He took the title to Mexico, defended it in Mexico. So he actually made the Heritage title even a bigger deal than it was previously. All this while he was the Twitch TV champion for House of Hardcore. So, I mean, it's really to say something about Willie Mack and how he was able to just take that title everywhere. Now he's doing the same thing with the national title. As a national champion, he already has a defense set up for Canada. Now, the national title is usually used to represent the lower continental 48 states. I mean, we were not talking about defenses in Hawaii and Alaska, but all over the U.S. is pretty typical. This opportunity in Canada will prove to be the first time that I can remember that an NWA national champion has been in Canada. Now, Willie Mack will take on Josh Alexander. Now, for those who don't know who Josh Alexander is, he was the opponent for Nick Aldis for the World Heavyweight Championship just a few weeks ago in Toronto, Ontario. This match will take place in Hamilton, Ontario for Alpha One Wrestling. Now, this is the first time, I think, for Willie Mack to be not only in another country as national champion, but it'll be the first time Willie Mack has wrestled for Alpha One Wrestling. So that should be kind of interesting. And I really think that, Willie Mack as a competitor is continuing to grow. With this relationship that the NWA has with Ring of Honor, we're seeing Nick Aldis now involved with Ring of Honor. I mean, he's doing guest commentary. He's wrestling for World Championship matches. Willie Mack has now defended the title. He defended against Rhett Titus recently. Now he's got this defense in Canada, separate from Ring of Honor. I believe that the NWA titles are now being showcased on two different television programs, one with considerably more reach than the other. But we're seeing both the world champion and the national champion being defended quite regularly, and I think that's good for the NWA. DKM, what are your thoughts with the NWA working with Ring of Honor?
Well, it's a good deal for the NWA, for sure. It does give them the exposure that they need. Ring of Honor is arguably the second best promotion going right now based out of the North American market.
Right.
Yes, they're light years behind, WWE. Let's just stipulate to that. But, still, their arrangement with New Japan and CMLL, and we're seeing that going to pay off in the Crockett Cup, which is going to feature teams from NWA, ROH, New Japan, CMLL. So it's going to give that the prestigious feel that it should have, quite honestly. Right.
And, the two teams that have been announced so far for the Crockett Cup, we're talking about Villains, Inc., which is the new tag team of PCO and Brody King, and they're not taking on. Maybe they will, and the only other tag team named in this tournament so far are the War Kings, and that is former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Jax Dane, Crimson, and Road Warrior Animal. So, I mean, you got quite the two tag teams that are set to go in this tournament, and there's still a bunch more to be named. Now, the Villains got into the tournament by winning the Ring of Honor Tag Wars, and the War Kings actually had a much easier path to the tournament. They had to beat Caleb Conley and, Jay Bradley to get into the tournament. That was their qualifying match. So both those teams are slated to be in the tournament. Then we also know that, like you were saying, DCAM, there should be tag teams from CMLL, tag teams from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and of course, there's tag teams affiliated with the National Wrestling Alliance, and of course, tag teams from Ring of Honor will probably be in the tournament as well. Jaden, which tag teams out there are you looking forward to maybe being a part of this Crockett Cup 2019?
Well, before I get into that, I just want to state that I hope it's actual tag teams and not just people thrown together to be part of the tournament. That, to me, would lessen the impact of what the tournament is. I wasn't a big fan of the idea of Marty Scurll and all this being a tag team in this because they're not a regular duo themselves. I'm much happier to see them go one-on-one for the championship. But, again, the other tag teams, unfortunately being announced as a legend, I don't think the Rock and Roll Express will be involved, but it would still be kind of nice to see them, part of that. And unfortunately, a lot of my favorite tag teams are not able to be so. Like, I would love to see the New Heart Foundation, but they're kind of with the MLW right now. If there is a tag team from Mexico, I really, really hope that we get to see the return of the Mexican Twin Devils, because they were considered the greatest tag team in Mexico in the last Crockett Cup in, 87? I think the Mexican Twin Devils, it's their time. I think they got the raw deal the last time. They didn't really speak the English well, and they didn't get a good opportunity. But I want to see them that as the Mexican representative tag team right now. I think that would be something. We need to get a hashtag going, everybody. Everybody listen to me. Start talking about the NWA, because right now I don't think they listen to anything I say because I'm guilty by association. So I want to see hashtag Mexican Twin Devils right now.
Wasn't
the Mulkey Brothers?
Well, no, the Mulkey Brothers, I don't think they would be anywhere near anybody right now. I heard one of the Mulkey Brothers got a little too familiar with a fan, a little too young, and happened to have a James Ellsworth moment. So maybe they shouldn't have to do that, everything like that. But maybe the Gladiators would get another shot. That'd be great.
Well, hey, who were the Guerreros in the '87 tournament? What was their gimmick?
There was at least one of them was doing the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion at the time. I think he was playing some kind of 1984 game where you take a laser and start shooting somebody with, or something like that.
That wouldn't be allowed in today's market. So we're down to our last 4 minutes, so I will say that I'm personally rooting, although I'm not going to hold my breath because of where they were wrestling last night. I wanted to see the Reno Scum in this tournament. I love the tag team, Reno Scum, which is Luster the Legend and Adam Thornstowe. Seeing those guys live compete in China was really eye-opening. They did take the United Wrestling Network tag team titles to China, and the way that they were able to connect with an audience that was unfamiliar with, one, who they were, but two, the language they even spoke. So they didn't have a culture connection. They didn't have a historical connection. They didn't even have a connection by language, but were still able to get an audience completely involved in that match. They were the United Wrestling Network Tag Team Champions until Adam Thornstowe was injured. So now they're back, and last night they were wrestling in Impact Wrestling. I don't know if that will have any, pardon the pun, impact on their ability to be at the Crockett Cup, but that was my personal hopes for the tag team tournament. DKM, is there anyone else you'd want to see in this tournament before we run out of time?
Not really that I can think of. Unfortunately, tag team wrestling is not what it once was. So maybe the Briscoes from ROH.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
thought
one.
for sure you were going to say Rob Conway and Matt Riviera.
Never.
Well, there's an old adage, and that is it's better to walk away and leave people wanting more than to overextend your welcome and be asked to leave. So with that, guys, we're going to end the show tonight. If you liked what you saw, make sure you leave a message and tell us what you liked about it or what you didn't like about it. And, we'll try to do this again very soon. So for DKM, for Jaden, this is J-Cal. Guys, real quick, is there anything else you want to add?
How do they see the show?
Good question. Parts of the show will be taped for our YouTube audience at TheAllianceBlog. The video, when it's ready, will be on the website at alliance-wrestling.com.
I also want to get a quick plug in. Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators has an event on May 25th at the Max Fit Sports Center located at 240 Delsea Drive South in Glassboro, New Jersey. 2 matches have already been announced. There's going to be a WWGP Heavyweight Championship match with the Incredible Huck, William Huckabee, defending against former champion Biggie Biggs. And you'll see Glassboro's own Eric Martin take on Johnny Moran. Those are 2 matches. Check out dogprowrestling.com as long as Facebook doesn't try to block it again.
Okay, and then real quick, I want to give a plug to a friend of the show. I don't know if you guys know him personally. I don't think either one of you care for him very much, but I'm talking about Adam Rotola and the NWA 10 Pounds of Podcast. Just shout out, Adam has been very supportive of the website. He's been very supportive of the videos and podcasts that we do over here at Alliance-Wrestling. Heck, we even host his show for the site. So I just want to give him a cheap plug that you can go to the website www.whatforapparel.com, and you can get the very shirt that I'm wearing right here, along with the merch sheep shirt, which I personally despise, but I'm sure a lot of fans will be interested in purchasing that one. And again, that's whatforapparel.com, and just search for the Week in Elite or search for the 10 Pounds of Podcasts, and you can find those shirts on the site.